it's not a problem. Diving or simulation, it's not. It's an exaggerated problem. It's not really a problem in English.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is. But I don't make campaigns.
But you always think that the campaign against you?
Yes. That's not against me because I'm not on the pitch. Against Chelsea, yes. Against Chelsea, yes. You know, in the last couple of weeks, do you want me to tell you the two most important things that happened in my matches? In my matches, in my opinion, Felipe Luis and Eden Hazard should be now or could be now with broken legs. These are, for me, the two crucial things of my matches in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Felipe Luis and Eden Hazard, they could be in hospital now with broken legs. And you are speaking about Gary Cahill against Hull City with the result 2-0, and you are speaking about West Ham with the result 2-0 should be 5-0. And today, penalty. Points, no penalty, no points. But you also forget other things. Because Man City Crystal Palace goal is not offside, you don't speak a lot about it. Man United Newcastle 0-0, a penalty, a red card for Mata, no penalty. So you don't speak also about other things.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had to bring that one back, the classic campaign against Chelsea, because boy, oh boy, is it relevant now, isn't it, Jem?
Yes, I've been saying it I said it today actually on my own show. I said that they've brought politics into our football club. They've used politics against us, and now it's way past the Roman issue. It's more of a let's target Chelsea issue from what I can see. So yeah,
seriously,
I agree.
Absolutely seriously. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to Chelsea Unfiltered. Welcome to KH No Filter Football. I am your host, Marshalldbdx, and today we have one of my favorite content creators on the YouTube Chelsea space. And you know what? This has been long overdue. I haven't had Jem on the channel in really ever as a guest. It's just usually comes on, we talk for a bit, and then we move on about our business. But I'm glad to have you here, Jem. How you doing, bro?
It has been a long time. I love this channel for various reasons. One being that you can kind of say what you think without actually regretting it.
Whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is slightly filtered over where I am, maybe because I'm the host, but it's nice to come over and not be a host and actually say how I feel more often.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. Thanks for having me as always, bro. I appreciate it.
Of course, dude. It's an absolute pleasure. I've been wanting to have you on for a hot minute, but you know, now that I have control of it, I was like, you know what, why not? Let's just get some people to collab with. Let's get some people to talk to. I love having conversation with other YouTube content creators or Chelsea content creators, and it's always fun, man. We always have a good discussion, and every time we talk, we always have a good time anyways. So
100%.
But yeah, people, make sure as we're about to start the show, you already know the details. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Check out Jem's YouTube GNA TV down below. It's in the description. You can also hit the at GNA TV on the title, and it'll take you to his channel. Make sure you subscribe to him and check out his content. He's always very consistent, posting all the time, always on top of it. Great content, good shows, and you know, great hosts as well. He also does call-ins as well, which is always a good time. But yeah, and yeah, check out all the other links in the description as well. The Discord, you can join our Discord. You can join my YouTube channel as well, and then Kai's Twitter is still down there. So
big up everyone in the chat as well. Big up to everyone in the chat already.
Yeah, big up Jose, big up Top Bins, Hassan, Rebecca, Jem. I see you in there too. But Yeah. I guess before we get into the whole campaign against Chelsea, we got to start off with what is fresh, right, Jem? And let's talk about this game, man. Overall, my thoughts of the game, I thought it was to me, it was kind of like a very cagey match. We were, I think we were a little bit more exposed than I would like to be, but I understand going into this game that this is not the same Newcastle we played in the beginning of the season. This is a Newcastle that has gone undefeated since January. Eddie Howe has really turned it around, and this team has, been a lot better in recent weeks when it comes to performances. But at the end of the day, I was saying on the Discord, because we do the watch alongs on the Discord, guys. I was saying on the Discord, I don't care how we get the goal, even if it's like a jammy goal, as long as we get the win, because these are the games that you want to get the win no matter what the cost, right? This is what makes the difference between a competitive side and just a side that does well on occasion. So we got the points. We're still competing for that third place and top four, and we're still distancing ourselves. We're still 9 points ahead of Manchester United, and everyone else is still behind us. But overall, I was Kai Havertz, man. We can't deny it anymore. This man's inevitable. He's already setting up his foundations as a Chelsea legend. This man's coming in clutch so often. And I think, what is it now? 4 games in a row where he has a goal, I think 4 games in a row, or at least goal involvements in 4 games in a row. It's fantastic. But Jem, I'm going to pass it off to you. What did you think about the game? And then we'll dissect it overall, little by little.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about Kai Havertz in a bit, I guess, because it deserves to be spoken about. But in terms of the overall game, you know what? I thought Newcastle played very well. I was on my stream earlier on before kickoff, and I said that I thought that they might, by the way that they're setting up, they might just sit and just try and wait for us to sort of break them down and play on the counter. They've done the complete opposite to the way I thought that they would play. They were pressing higher. They were trying to catch us high off the ball.
Yeah, they were pressing us high. I did notice that.
Well, it was weird because a lot of teams that come over to Stamford Bridge don't play like that, and when they do, they really get punished for it. And you think of someone like Leeds, for example, they would do that under Bielsa. Do you know what I mean? But they made it really hard for us to get up the pitch, and I was never really comfortable with. I wanted the 3, but then I understood why the 4 happened, because there was no Aspie. Obviously, we haven't got Reece James. It makes it very hard for us to play in that reason. But where we have been successful the last couple of games is because we've played the 3 system, and we've the chemistry between Mount, Pulisic, and Kai Havertz was very good, and it just worked. I mean, look, as much as I thought Newcastle did a very good job, I still feel that we were still very below par. Like, there's certain individuals on the pitch that just wasn't up to the standard. We're struggling to get a feel of the game, taking too many touches. And again, I keep stressing when I watch us, we're just so slow with our build-up and the way that we play. We allow teams to get back into positions. We allow teams to get organised, and it makes it 10 times harder for us to break teams down when we're not like that, like bang, bang, bang. And I just felt like we wasn't like that in 45 minutes. And even, you look at the second half, and I thought, all right, the one thing that usually happens is Thomas Tuchel gets in their ears and they come out and they're a completely different team. He decided to stick with the same team. And I did think that we needed Kovacic. I thought Kovacic was a big miss, and you could see why when he came on as well.
I think once Kovacic came on, he made a big difference. We were making a lot. Like you said, the pace was a lot quicker.
A little bit, but it was still hard. Like, but we weren't playing. Our build-up play was quite poor today. It wasn't a game where you could sit there and say, "Oh, we played really well." I thought we were really poor, personally. I do. I don't think we were that good whatsoever. The fact that we didn't hardly have any shots on target the whole game, barring Kai Havertz's header and then his goal, it wasn't, just isn't good enough. It just isn't good enough. And we have to criticize it. We have to criticize it, but at the same time,
of course,
we got the win, and I know we're going to talk about that settings, but we got the goal, which looked like it wasn't going to come. I'm not going to lie, I was getting ready for a 0-0, to be honest, but it came, and it was a bit of a smash and grab more than anything, Yeah,
I 100% agree with everything, your whole analysis of the game. it was weird because very, very seldomly do we get pressed back that far back. Usually with teams, they'll try to play a counterattack against us, or they'll sit back and just wait to gain possession that way, and then we'll set ourselves. But today, like, credit where credit is due, Newcastle, they had a plan and they initiated on it. They took advantage of it and it was working. They were pressing us high, like you said, and we couldn't really build up from the back like we usually do. We were trying to, you know, get rid of the ball, and sometimes we would just lose possession on our third. And whenever we would go up, we would, you know, I guess this is the part where like Jorginho and Conte were kind of a little lacking, which is getting rid of that ball quick and getting quick through balls and in dangerous areas and really taking advantage of possession and the attack as well. I think when Kova came in, I think Kova was finding those passes a lot better than both of them. But I mean, you're right. It didn't completely turn the game around. We still were a little clunky, but he did make a big difference. And I got to say, what was disappointing about today's match is Mount and Werner weren't really. I mean, I could kind of say the same for Ziyech, but Werner is the biggest one. I feel like he really didn't do anything today. I think we were just playing with 10 men with him on the pitch.
The one thing with Timo Werner that I think he's, don't get me wrong, I feel like he has been scapegoated quite a bit in many games.
For sure.
I think for the last 2 games, even I've looking at him and I'm just like, what are you offering? Like, have you turned into Lukaku overnight? Like, he's non-existent.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing with 10 men. Like, usually he's very involved. You're right. You have 2 or 3 chances. He'll create a goal, and people still have a go at him because he's not scoring. But he's still getting involved, and that was the only real ammunition that you had on his side. Like, you could stick up for him and go, well, at least he suits the system. At least he makes things happen. At least he tries to do something different. And today he was just his touches was so bad. You know, his positions he was taking up, he kept getting caught offside. I think Timo Werner's ready to leave Chelsea, personally.
You know what? You took the words right out of my mouth, Jem, because I'm glad you mentioned his last 2 games and not just this one, because that Norwich game, we know Mason has been in terrible form lately. Like I know statistically he's doing better in the sense of like, I know Dave brought this up on your channel. Statistically, he's doing better in the sense of open play, assist, and goals and stuff this season. But overall, his game has not been that good, if you ask me. But against Norwich, he had the space. He had more time on the ball, and he performed well. And so did Kai. They were having a field day against Norwich. But Timo, he was, I don't know if because maybe, Kai has a new best friend now and abandoned Timo. Yeah. Timo is like the old news now. You know what I mean? Oh, Kai's sitting with the cool kids.
He looked like the left out kid, didn't he? The kid.
He kind of felt like he was like the kid that was left out of the group. But it could be that. But also like, overall in that game, he just wasn't doing much. And this is a game where you expect Timo to like really be prominent because you have all the space, you have time, and that's the thing that you flourished on so much in Bundesliga. And even against Norwich, you couldn't perform. And the touches are fucking terrible. Let's just get that right. His touches are not improving at all. And even in this game, we saw some of that too, like terrible touches
I just don't really get.
Yeah.
When I look at the Leipzig player and I do watch it just to see like what is the difference here? Like what are we missing? And when I watch him at Leipzig, even his touches are better. His movement, his speed. He just has. I don't know if it's what you've seen of him, but I feel like he's lost an extra yard of speed. He just don't look quick anymore. Like
that too. He's getting beaten on runs, which I was like, what? I thought you were fast.
He just doesn't. I watched him against Norwich. Norwich was a good example actually because there was a couple moments where he could have sprinted and he just looked like he was going at 60%, like in himself. It just wasn't, he just didn't have that hunger. That's the word, hunger, just to really try and get on the end of things and try and make things happen. And well, listen, it's hard for him as it is because of all of all of the scapegoating he has had since he's been at Chelsea. To be playing like he is now, he's just going to absolutely cement him in the blooming ground. Do you know what I mean? Completely, especially for
honestly, I see him play, and I get this feeling that he just feels defeated. You know, he just feels like I as much as I try, I'm not good. I think the confidence is absolutely. You said it perfectly, CG, right here. Zero confidence. I just think it's a shot. I think he's done. And you know what? You said it, and I'm saying it too right now. I think Timo's time at Chelsea is done. I really do. I hate to say it because he's such a fantastic person. Yeah, his personality is great, and on his best days, especially last season, especially during that Champions League final, he provided so much more than just, you know, not being able to goals, but he got the assists. He was the top assist last season. He was making incredible runs, and his touches were still terrible, but he was creating space and he looked dangerous. He was, you know, making defenders worried, you know, which is something. But this season and these last 2 games, I'm just not seeing it. And I don't know what's going to happen with him at this point. I just don't see him staying at the club. Like, we have how many more games left? Like 8 more games left. We don't have that many more games left. And
time's running out big time. I think he's one. I think he's the first on the list. I do. I think he's one of the first on the list to go. Some people might think he ain't, but I don't think we'll have him here. It
for sure. Make sense. What did you think of Mason's game today? Because to me, it was. I
don't know.
Look, I'm not gonna be deceived by the Norwich game. He had a good game against Norwich, but it seems like he's the Norwich Terminator. But it's just it's still not there. I don't know what's going on with Mason either. I just don't think he's as impactful as a player as he was last season. I think he's good for the stats, I guess, but I don't know.
I think the issue with Mason Mount is that in the first 2 seasons of arriving at this football club, he set such high standards because he carried this football club in many games. And I think we looked at that and we thought to ourselves, wow, like, you know, this boy's young. How much more? Like, wow, you know, what is his level? Like, because he keeps every year, you know, the first year was decent. The second year, I thought it was even better. And it goes into his third year at Chelsea in the first team. And it's just not there. His overall form since the beginning of the season to now, he's not there. And I think where he set such high standards of him, I think it's the truth. I think where he's such high standards of himself in how he's played in the last 2 seasons, because, you know, the bracket was quite high when you look at how important he become for Chelsea. It was like he had to start. He was a starter all the time. Yeah. And now we're not seeing it. I don't know whether if it's more of a thing that we have to be patient, because when I look at someone like Mason Mount, I think he's still goddamn young. You know, he's done so well in his first 2 seasons. Does he deserve to have a bit of a blip in his form? I think so. At his age, do I think he's done? No, I don't. But I think a bit of patience with Mason Mount. I do think that he shouldn't be on the pitch for the sake of it. Sometimes I think he just gets played because he's Mason Mount and he would played very well the last 2 seasons. But, you know, there's people like, we haven't spoken about yet, but Pulisic, who's starting to pick it up, having good chemistry with, like, you know, like starting to find a bit of form. Ziyech, I thought, didn't have a great game today, but Mason Mount, you know, at the end of the day, people will look at his outputs and say, yeah, but his outputs are better than the 2 seasons before. Yeah, but look at the goals, where the goals have came from, and you know what I mean. Like, a lot of the goals that he scored, the 8 or 9 goals, were in games against.
Honestly, honestly, Jem, half of the goals on his tally are from Norwich at this point.
That's what I'm saying. You know, so I look, Mason Mount's the type of character, when I look at him, that I think he knows himself he's not playing well enough. Like, he can just see it.
He definitely, he should know.
Doesn't look happy in himself. I saw him today. Like, I don't know whether it's his haircut, because his hair's so long. I think he needs to shave it off. Like, it might be that little, you know, like, what's it called, Zac Efron Bieber, like, whatever he's got going on there. You know what I mean?
I don't know what he has. He has like a beehive on his head now. It's getting bad. He's got to get the trim. I don't know. It's cutting. I think it's cutting the circulation to his head or something. I don't know.
He's definitely not the same. It's definitely not the same.
Yeah. Well, this comment is very, very true. Mason was poor, but nobody will talk about it. But let's not forget he played his favorite position. It's true. We were playing with 4 in the back, and he was more of a midfield area, and I didn't see it. There wasn't much to it. To me, you know, you're right. Last season, and I know, like, I'm willing to be patient with Mason because I know the type of player he is. We saw how amazing he could be and how much pressure he could hold on his shoulders during that really rough patch last season with Lampard during that December-January season. He was our best player. He was our best player, hands down. He's just on the pitch. Every last drop of sweat that he could pour on the pitch, he did 110% all the time. He played amazingly. And even, the Champions League, he was so important to us in that Champions League. He made multiple opportunities, always pressing really well. Even his pressing this season hasn't been that fantastic, if you ask me. He hasn't been that effective. So I don't know. With Mason, it's such a tricky thing. I really hope that by next season he figures it out. I think he's trying to find a balance, and I'm hoping that next season there is a balance there. He can get goals and assists, but also be effective in his gameplay, because I feel like maybe he's sacrificing the gameplay for results, and he's young, so he's figuring it out.
Today he played in what I think is his most preferred position, which is a number 8. I don't actually generally see him as a forward, and I know that he's had games where most of his games has been played as a forward. When you think about how he played in the past, we've not really switched to a forward. We've always,
which is why I cut him some slack too, Jem.
Yeah, to a degree, but I still think that the position that he's taking up is his actually strongest position. We're just not seeing it at the moment. I just feel that he is. I'm gonna say he's got a mental issue at the moment. I don't know if it's a mentality thing with him. I just feel like his form's just not there. And I do think it's more to do with the whole thing with him being young still. And I think we have to take that into consideration. We can't always, he's made amounts of crap this season, we've got to sell him. That's how we act a lot of the time. As Chelsea fans, we forget that Mason Mount's still very young, that Mason Mount's, set his standards high at this football club. And I think we need to give him a bit of time, really.
Yeah, I'm willing to be patient with him, because he's pulled us out of some really crappy situations last season. And I know we both know the type of player he can be. So there's no denying it. But one player that has really stepped up, and we got to talk about this, obviously. And honestly, we have to compare it with Lukaku, because we have to look. Lukaku came on
today as well. Oh my god.
Oh my god, this man! Like, the fact that there was this one play where N'Golo was coming, was in a counterattack, and there was like N'Golo versus like 3 defenders or 4 defenders. And Lukaku was running away from the goal, or from the ball, running away from N'Golo, and like almost running away, just not giving himself the option, like, what's going on, Kai? Big up Kai in the chat. He just wasn't allowing himself to have the option to get the ball. So it's like, what do you want N'Golo to do? Do you want him to just get the star from Mario Kart and just get the ball right through the Newcastle defense and to you? Like, how do you expect to get the ball when you're not even opening yourself up for the ball? But and the other thing is, like, the possession, bro. Oh my god, this man, as soon as he touches the ball, he loses it. He's like Timo now. He's turning into Timo, like, and it's crazy. But I wanted to show you guys something here, because I was doing a little bit of research here, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I'm looking at Kai Havertz, right? This is his heat map for the season. Look at the amount of space he covers and how much he runs.
Yeah, he's unreal.
It's incredible. And Jem, he does it for 90 minutes. Not even just like the first 60 minutes. He has a tank that like no other. Look, he's in the middle. He's in the left a lot. He's in the right a lot. He's all over the place. This man runs like a maniac.
The whole side of one half of the pitch is covered.
And down here too. Like, I bet you we look at Romelu's heat map, and I'm not going to bother because I don't want to embarrass him more than he's embarrassing himself. But like, you look at the heat map and look at down here. Like, he even comes down to defend sometimes, Kai. Yeah. He's all over the pitch. There's hot spots here at the defending part of.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise, because I see it, and this is why I stress to people, and this is when we go. I'm going to go back a bit in time a bit before. Yeah. It's when Lukaku and Werner both got injured, and we were stuck, and we had Kai Havertz leaving the line, but everyone was still moaning about Kai Havertz because he wasn't scoring goals. I don't see what he's doing. I don't really see what he's doing. That helps the system. We don't benefit from him. This is what it is. I keep telling people, it's the movement. It's the being able to hold the ball up. It's being able to create pockets of spaces to allow other players to run into. It's It's the intelligence. That's what the word is. It's the intelligence
Absolutely.
of playing that game. Now, when we talk about a number 9, he's not your typical number 9 striker. A typical number 9 striker is a Romelu Lukaku, someone that you just put in front of goal and he just puts it in the back of it consistently. You know, that's him. He's a very sort of sick, narrow-minded sort of striker, if that makes sense. Like he only knows that way. A player like Kai Havertz is not even a false 9. He is a 9, but he's a different type of. The 9s that we have today are completely different to the 9s that we had 10 years ago, where you were a typical number 9. This is a new generational type of 9 that fits the system that we play. And he has, without him, and I keep saying it, his ability to be able to win headers because he's tall, to control the ball because he's strong enough, to be able to fight people off the ball because he's strong enough, to be able to have the technical ability to run at people, to run behind because he does have the speed. People thought he didn't have the speed. He does have the speed. He has it. He has everything that we need to lead our line. And all he needed to do, and this is the only thing that we could have bang on about, is put it in the back of the net. And what's he doing in the last 4 games?
Been put in the back of the net. 4 games in a row now he's scored, I'm pretty sure.
Did we waste 100 million? That's the biggest question mark.
I know, right? Fuck. But like, I even wanted to show you guys this versus Norwich. He was predominantly on the right, because he was playing as a right cam. But you see him down here in the defense. You see him on the other side of the pitch as well. Like let me see what his heat map look like for Newcastle. Not as predominant, right? Because it was a very cagey affair, but still, like, you see him, like, not only on the attacking side of the pitch, he's also coming down to defend. And it's just, he works so hard. This man is a workhorse. And I don't think people pay attention to that. I remember before this good run of form, people were saying how, I don't think he moves enough. I think he's lazy. He's a bit of a lethargic player. That's not fucking true. It's absolutely not true. You saw the heat maps. The man moves all over the place.
100%, and that's the difference between him and the 100 million lamppost that we got up front. And we saw it today. Like, I don't like sitting here digging at our own players because it's not in me to do that. But when you spend that much money on a player that, all right, I have put the interview aside. Don't get me wrong, I have. It's been hard.
I think a lot of us have by now.
I'm trying to concentrate on on what he does on the pitch. Right, show us what you've got. You know, show Chelsea Football Club that you want to be here, like you keep saying you do, supposedly. Yeah. Every time he comes on the pitch, he just looks lost. It's like he doesn't. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, is he a footballer? I'm not joking. Like today, he made. Kante gets the ball, right? He does one of them Kante runs. He wins the tackle and then he's sprinting through and he's running. And Lukaku's, he's so offside, but he doesn't think to run back on to then give Kante the option to then pass it through.
True. He was offside too. That's the other thing. Oh my God.
Back from offside. He has no real hunger to make things happen for himself at the moment. And we can't, and this is why Thomas Tuchel don't play him, because we don't benefit from him. He can't hold the ball up. He's not got the movement to make runs down the line and hold the ball and link play. It's not his game. He is so narrow-minded in his movement. That means that you have to always play it in a straight line. Well, that's it. Because if you tell him to go right or left, he's not going to run. He doesn't run. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but it doesn't work, Marshall. And people think I'm slandering him. I'm not slandering him. I can see it in his performances. It's just even his movement in the box. Look at Kai Havertz's goal today. And we're going to get to talking about Havertz as it is, right? That Jorginho pass, don't get me wrong, I thought Jorginho was shit the first half, but the second half, it got better, And that ball that he made, I want to see him do that more. He just doesn't do it, which is annoying me. But that ball that he played, and that movement from Kai Havertz to pull himself away from the defender, bring that ball down. Can you imagine Lukaku doing that? Bringing that ball down, one touch, and then hitting it first time into the bottom, into the way that he did. That finish was world class. Yeah, that was a world-class finish. He even had a chance. I don't know if you remember, but he should have scored where he went like that with the defender, went to go back, and then he went forwards and he won the header, but he hit it straight at the goalie. We didn't have many chances, actually, but it was in the second half as well.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Did you see his movement? Because what he done is he dragged the defender that way, and then he just went that way. He lost him. He doesn't do that, Lukaku. I don't know how he scored so many goals when you can't even do the basics, which is lose your defender in the box. That's a basic common knowledge of a striker. Lose your defender. Make space for yourself. You know, and that's why I think Kai Havertz has to lead the line. We have to build it. around Kai Havertz because he is a starter for me. There's no one. There's no Lukaku, no Werner. It's Kai Havertz, and that's who we should be building around for now.
You know what? I 100% agree. I mean, in the beginning of the season, Kai was struggling a bit. I'm not gonna deny that. He was not winning dribbles. He was getting beaten off the ball often, and he was having a hard time. And you know what? He's young. It is what it is. He'll come on when he does come on, and he'll play when he plays, and he'll get his confidence and stuff. But I think after seeing Romelu play the way he's played so often, seeing what the manager wants out of the club, seeing what is missing in the play, I think Kai was smart enough to pick up on that. And as soon as he got his opportunity, he acted on it. He did what he needed to do. He knew what was the missing puzzle in this jigsaw, which is the Chelsea attack, and he pounced on it. And you're seeing the results now. Like you said it, that goal, that touch. That's the type of touch and the type of goal that I expect Lukaku to be scoring consistently. But he hasn't. And even coming off as a substitute, like I don't really mind if Lukaku is stagnant and doesn't move too much. What bothers me at this very moment is the fact that he doesn't, even if he's going to stay in the attacking third, he doesn't get himself involved in the buildup of the attack. It's like he really wants to take the play and the glory of the goal. He wants the goal to be his goal, and he acts like it. He runs. He will ask for a through ball constantly. We've seen it. It's repetitive. He always is asking for the through ball, even though it's not the ideal position. And the better play would have been to wait for the ball, do like a 1-2 with Conte or something, and then build it up from there. And just even today, like the fact that we didn't even have that many long shots. I don't think we had. Maybe we had 1-2 shots.
We were bad.
It was bad. Like I remember Mason had a shot, and that one, that was like off of a corner from the distance. But you saw what Newcastle did. They were doing shots out of a distance and testing Mendy. Lukaku, I know, has a shot. Lukaku has a boot. We can't deny it. He has a boot. He doesn't need that much run-up space to get a good shot or a powerful shot. Didn't even try to get a shot outside of the box.
He just needs to change his brand from Timberlands to, I don't know, something a bit smaller, Nike or something. If he changes that, then he wouldn't be punning all the time.
The thing is, I don't think he's going to change. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I want him to play more like Kai Havertz, because it's not true. It's not going to happen. That's just not the type of player that Lukaku is. He's not going to be moving around. You're not going to find him defending. You're not going to find him on one side of the pitch and then the complete other side of the pitch.
What did we buy him for? Because when you look at the way that we play the game, look at Thomas Tuchel since he's come through the door. This really deep hit, right? How have we been so successful for the since Tuchel's come in? What have we done that's worked so well for us? We've had players that move, players that link up, players that move, energy, work hard, press from the front. And that's where the success was. He came in and he decided that he didn't want to adapt his game to the way that we wanted to play. He wanted everyone in our team to play to his strengths. That's why you always see, like he's like the boss or something. He's the boss on the pitch. I want it there. His arms move more than his legs. Rather than going, right, you know what? I'm going to show them. I'm going to adapt to the way they're playing. I'm going to bully him. I'm the experienced guy. I'm 28 years old. I scored 300 goals. I'm going to show them why I've done this. He doesn't. Yeah, he sits there and he wants everything to be played into the way that he wants to play. Yeah, and
everything wants to be at his feet, a through ball. It's ridiculous.
Until this day, I've not seen anything different. You could play the same game over and over again with Lukaku, where he's been up front, and I've not seen any difference in his performance. He doesn't look like he's doing anything. If anything, for me, he's getting worse. I'm not joking. He's getting worse, I think. Yeah. I don't know. It hurts because we waste so much money on him, and it's not. Do you know what it is? We've just bought the wrong profile striker. I mean, he's not a bad striker. He can't be a bad striker. He's got 300 goals. It's just that we're not going to change the whole system to accommodate him. He needs that. That's all it is. Yeah. We needed a Benzema. We needed a Kane. We need someone that can come deep when they're not getting involved in the game and create space and link the play. And he don't do that. It's just not his game.
Yeah. I think we were all. This is where the Rory in me comes out. The romanticism of Lukaku was a powerful thing. I think all of us were Rom back and Lukaku back, and all these hashtags are being spewed out in social media. We were all really hyped up to get our Romelu Lukaku back, and lo and behold, you're right. I think we won the Champions League without you, Romelu. We won it with this system. We're not gonna just change that if it's like, you know what the saying is, Jem. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah.
we weren't gonna change the tactics just to fit Romelu. Like, yeah, maybe we were gonna change a little bit of how we play, but we're not gonna change the system. If anything, Romelu, you need to come here, and if you want to win a Champions League with us, you got to adapt to our system. I'm sorry, you won the Scudetto over in Italy, but that's just a Scudetto. We're here to win the Premier League. We're here to win. I almost said Carling Cup. Wow. Carabao Cup, FA Cup. We're here to win the Champions League again, and all these other trophies that we're in. We're here to win so much more than just a Scudetto. So I don't know, with this guy, like, I would hope he's smart enough to at least realize by now that these running behinds that he's constantly making is not working, bro. You keep doing it over and over again, expecting a different result, but it's just not working.
People on Twitter are trying to say that they think Timo Werner's the worst ever number 9 we've signed. I don't think he is.
I don't know about that.
He is not the worst. Not for if Romelu Lukaku goes at the end of the season on the way that he's playing for 100 M's, he will be the worst ever striker we've ever bought to this football club. I'm telling you now.
Especially for the price tag we bought him.
For that price tag as well, I'm not even joking. At least Timo Werner had how many goal contributions last season, even though he wasn't scoring. Exactly. He impacted the thing. Do you know what I mean? He's not any better. Don't get me wrong. It's like comparing shit with shit, to be honest. But at least one still makes something happen when he's on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? That's the only real difference. But it is what it is. We move.
And one thing I want to mention about today's game, and then let's talk about the new ownership.
Yeah,
that too. We really suffer when we don't have defensive backs or wing backs or defensive backs. Like today, it was Chalobah and Sarr, right? Oh my goodness. You could tell how much attack, how much less we are effective in the attack when we don't have at least one of a Reece James or an Aspie or a Marcus Alonso. It's kind of bad, which is partially probably why Timo looked invisible today. Partially probably why Ziyech looked invisible, because Ziyech benefits from that overlap that he always gets with the right back. But yeah, I think in the summer, depending on what the ownership is going to look like, and hopefully, Al Chelsea is the future, but we need to get more backups, man. We either need to figure out the Aspie situation, get a proper wing back or whatever Tuchel desires in the form of what his system is going to take, but we definitely need a left back for sure. It's just today, these injuries, I think when it comes to the injuries, I think compared to Liverpool last season, I think we've had more injuries this season than Liverpool last season. I'm not even going to lie.
We've been very unlucky with it. Don't get wrong. We had a go at Liverpool fans for using the fact that they had injuries. Yeah. To be fair, I think it's a little bit hypocritical. But don't get me wrong. I think we have had it worse off, especially for that Christmas period. And the reason I say that was, it wasn't just injuries. We had people out for COVID as well, and we were told that we had to play every game, which was 2 to 3 days.
Oh my God!
With the same team, that ended up getting Reece James injured because we asked Reece James to play wing back. Then we got him to play central midfield, and then eventually, when he did get injured, he was left wing back against Brighton at home against Lamptey, where he'd been playing like 2 weeks in a row every game. Do you know what I mean? And now he is where he is because of all of the pressure that we got put the agenda against Chelsea, isn't it? So
seriously, and we had to rush him in too. I mean, in part because Aspie got a stomach bug or something like that, or something was wrong with Aspie. He was recovering from the knock from the Liverpool game.
Yeah, it's just too many players, man. It was just too. It wasn't right. We was just getting picked apart. completely.
Yeah, it's just too much, and it's like we were losing whole areas at once. Like at one point, we didn't really have an attack. All of our attackers were injured, and there was a point where we were struggling with the midfield. We only had Jorginho and Ruben. It's like, and
I
then
remember
our
Barkley at one point.
defensive crosses.
Yeah, I remember
Oh my
Barkley being a
goodness.
6th. Do you remember that against Zenit? I was saying it was Barkley and Reece James.
I remember
as a-
Barkley against fucking Burnley, and that being an absolute howler for us. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Barkley. Let's talk about the new owners.
Yes.
This Saudi Arabian, there's some promising ones. All of them promising to get rid of Ross Barkley, I hope. Yeah, I mean, there's a few, right? There's this Nick Candy character who is a Chelsea fan, a season ticket holder. There's Todd Bowley and the what's this guy's name? Hans-Jorg Wyss, that consortium. Yeah. So Todd Bowley is the owner of, or a quarter of the owner of the LA Dodgers and the Lakers, which both are very successful teams here in the States. And then we have here, how do you pronounce this guy? You're Turkish, aren't you, Jem? Mujin Bayrak.
Yeah.
Mujin Bayrak. And then there was the Saudi media company, I believe, that just recently came out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think any of these are really that bad. I feel like regardless of where we fall, I think Chelsea are going to be in decent hands. Obviously, some of them aren't going to be as good as Roman, like Candy or Bowley. But
I think,
ideally, I would like the Saudi media company, or Mujin Bayrak. What do you think?
We can go through them if you want. I can break them down, all their pros.
Yeah, break them
cons.
down, Jim, by all means.
Yeah.
Especially this Bayrak guy, because I don't know anything about him, and I know you have Turkish roots.
All right, so we'll start with Saudi Media Group, because this is the one that most Chelsea fans want to happen. And when you look at what they are, obviously they're owned by, they're part owned by a Chelsea fan who's a Saudi Arabian. I don't know if he's a prince out there or whatever, but his kids support Chelsea as well. When you look at his net worth, he's not actually worth much, but because he's involved in this group, and the group itself is billions from what I understand, there's other partners involved in this group. So you're being bought by a company rather than a couple of partners, which is completely different. They have better sponsoring opportunities, which means the reason they're more interested in buying Chelsea is because Free being suspended, Hyundai being suspended, allows them to come in and maybe negotiate better sponsoring contracts for Chelsea. So
true,
that's a selling point for Media Saudi. The other thing as well, that why people want Saudi, is because they look at the likes of Man City and they look at the likes of people like Newcastle, who have got absolutely bundles of money. But from what we've seen, and we can use Man City as the example, is that if they want something, they get it done. They're very they don't. There's no ifs and buts. It's right. What do you need? What do we need to kick on next season? And they've financially, they're very on point. Money's not a problem, as we know, and they'll get things done. So
$1 billion a year,
they make $1 billion a year. Yeah. So
wow.
In terms of being looked after by a group like Saudi Media, I don't think Chelsea would have any problems going on in the long run in the future. There was talks about maybe us having the same issues we have with Roman because of the issues with Yemen and whatever, but they're not apparently linked to the royal family out in Saudi Arabia as well. There's no links from any of the partners a part of that. So
that's the other thing too, Jem. I was thinking, like, if they're gonna have problems with the Saudi owners, then you would think that they would have issues with Sheikh Mansour and the other Saudi consortium that owns Newcastle. So I think politically, in the sense of, like, if we want to have the least amount of trouble, I think the Saudi would be the way to go, because I feel like the UK don't mind the Saudi people.
But the pros are pretty much all of what I said. That they're going to spend money. They're going to offer us better sponsoring, should we say, across, because they've got better agreements, so they know better people, being that they're in the media anyway. So, Chelsea as a global brand could grow better and bigger, which actually helps. So in terms of that being all pros, that's pros. And financially you're going to spend money. What's the con with that Saudi media group? Is that it all sounds good. It's just you don't know their full intentions moving forward. And obviously there's no emotional connection, which is what we had with Roman Abramovich, which is fine. I'm cool to sit with that, because I'm not expecting that. And then you go to someone like Mujin Bayrak, the Turkish billionaire, who was very public about getting Chelsea, even when we got sanctioned on the Thursday, said that he was going to London to see his legal team to agree it and whatever, and was very vocal about it. Now, I think the pros of Muslim Bayrak is that he's a luxury developer. So in Turkey, he does a lot of development. He also has projects in England as well, where he does a lot of developments. And one of the things that Roman, from what I understand, part of what Chelsea want to do moving forward is build that stadium. So having an owner that has that know-how and understanding is massive. But also he's in cryptocurrency, and we know that cryptocurrency is not it's not legit
right now.
Well, yeah, it's blowing up, but it's not actually legit, is it? There's no, it's you know, you can invest in
up and down.
Yeah, it's up and down. But what I'm saying is, if Roman was to buy it, they were saying that because he owns his own coin, which is called AB Group coin, that Roman might invest that money into the crypto so that it doesn't get touched by the you know, the heavier sanctions that he's got now. So you know, it was like a cut corner for him in many ways to use Muslim Bayrak company. So crypto, because crypto's not legal, is it? You know, it is legal, but it's not what's it called?
It's not like a formal
regulated
currency.
Yeah,
It's not regulated.
It's not like regulated, so you can kind of do what you want to do without anything actually being done to you, because there's no sort of regulations into hand. I think the pros with him would be, like I said, just he's a luxury developer. He'll come in, he'll want to build stadiums, you know,
which the club needs, by the way.
Yeah,
that's big.
The only thing that worries me with him is he's very Turkish. Like he like the fact that he was like, we're going to fly the Turkish flag there. You know, it was like he wasn't thinking like, is he going to use Chelsea as a franchise? So put his own name and his own company brands out in the world, because owning Chelsea will also enhance all of your other assets that you own. So it was understanding what his intentions were going to be when he comes into the football club. And I'm not sure on that. I don't think there will be an emotional connection from him. Don't get me wrong, I think he would spend money, but I don't think he would be like a Roman, if that means, and goes watch all the games.
Yeah. It won't be like a fan of the club. And,
do you know what I mean? So then again, it's, you know, do you want that kind of guy, or do you want the Saudi? Then you go to someone like Todd Bowley and Vitz. Now I know everyone didn't want Vitz because of how old he is, and it's like, what we're going to do with an 86-year-old? He could be, he could be dead by the time next year. You know what I mean.
We hope not, but yeah, I understand.
You hope not, but you know what I mean. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. The uncertainty of someone actually passing. What happens with partners? We need to get someone else in, like that worry. And then you've got this guy called Todd Bowley, and obviously you'll know more than me in regards to potentially him. But for me, from what I've seen of him, I've done a lot of like I watched a lot of clips. His general knowledge and understanding of football is quite impressive. Like, he really understands the game, and he seems like a guy that, from what I've been told by a Canadian who I spoke to, who is very, all right, whatever it costs, I'll pay it. Like, he doesn't really have a cap on what he spends. He just wants to be successful. He always wants to win. He always wants to be the best. And, that's a good thing. The fact that, he'll come here financially and do that. I think why they wanted that third partner was, again, the stadium thing. And that's why they spoke to he's got a friend in London, isn't he? It's a Spurs fan that's in development, who he's brought on as the third partner in the deal. So, he's into development. So I think he's trying to cover all angles. But from what I've heard of Todd Bowley, like, I don't think he's a bad choice, personally. I know he's American and everyone says, I don't want an American. But looking at him, I think we could be in good hands with him. It sounds like he understands and wants to improve
this
the club.
comment.
He's a Spurs fan, though. Yeah. And Nick
Candy, that might be an issue. I'm not gonna lie, Jim.
Nick Candy's one that stands out the most because he's a Chelsea fan. He goes to Chelsea games. He began since he was the age of 4. He's talking about giving a Chelsea fan, the opportunity to own. Once, if he does ever get the opportunity to own Chelsea, a part share in involvement in what goes on with Chelsea Football Club.
Imagine it's Rory. Oh my goodness!
The fans speak. I'm going to go for it. The fans, fans speak, and then obviously, he has the money. He's saying that he'll also sort out the short-term issues. I.e., Chelsea were talking about going into administration. So whoever we announce, apparently at the moment, we won't be able to officially announce a new owner for 6 weeks. So what they're saying is that even though Chelsea could sort someone out, and we could get back to normal, we are still going to need the new owners to provide a short-term funding. Does that make sense? Just to keep us going to the end. And they were talking about competition monies and whatever else. Government saying we will be allowed to have that if we do well in competitions and that. So, I think Nick Candy will be a good option in terms of that. He's in real estate. He's a Chelsea fan. He's a Chelsea fan. It seems like he will spend the money. He's saying that he's heavily interested in spending in not only the men's but the women's team as well. But the Saudi group also said the same thing: men's, women's, and academy. And they're talking about pushing the women's football, which is if they're a media group and you think about it, that's quite a big thing to do, you know, especially a Saudi media group. So, I mean, there's a lot of pros, and I mean, there ain't really a con. Again, the only con for all of them is where you know, what are their intentions? Are they, because for me it's not about the short term. They could all come in and what do you do to get a fan base on the side? Go and spend money, go and get the players you want, renew some contracts like Rudiger's, and everyone thinks, wow, this guy's really good. That's not the issue for me. The issue is the long term, and we won't know that straight away, but it's what are they going to be like 3, 4, 5 years down the line when they've got to make big decisions, or do you know what I mean? And that's the thing for me. That's the big worry, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, CG brings up a good point here about the Bowley. Look, you know, I live here in the States, and I don't really pay much attention. I used to be a baseball fan, and I know I don't really pay attention to much basketball, but when it comes to baseball, the Dodgers are always competing. The LA Dodgers are always in the playoffs. They're always competing. They always have some of the best players, and they're always pretty dominant in their division over in the National League West, I think. So that's a good sign to me. But the thing is also that he only owns 25% of it. And this for me is going to be like a bigger move for him. It's a more ambitious one. He's going to be owning, if there's 3 people involved, like 33% of the club. He's never really fully been an owner of the club, so I don't know how that works when he's the full owner of the club. How many shots he's going to call, or how much money is going to be invested in the club, and how much control he has with that. But I mean, again, he's an ambitious guy. Apparently he likes the color blue because he likes Dodgers. Now he wants to go to Chelsea. But with the Saudi Arabian owners, I think another thing that they said is their priority is that they're going to try to prioritize re-signing Rudiger as well as Aspie, which in my opinion, that's pretty big. That's been like a big discussion in the fan base for a while now, is getting these players signed. And especially now that now that we have these sanctions put on us, and mind you guys, the reason I say the stream title is Chelsea sanctioned and not Roman is because it really does feel like Chelsea as a club, which has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine, is being sanctioned. Honestly, like let's get it right. Like it's true. Like what is sanctioning Chelsea? Not letting people buy tickets, not letting people buy merchandise, not letting people. I think they can't even get food, right? You can only get like drinks while you're at the game. And not letting us re-sign or negotiate contracts. How does that help any victims of the war? And in fact, how does that even hurt Roman? Because at the end of the day, like Jem, me and you both know, Roman doesn't get anything out of the club. He doesn't make money off the club. If anything, he loses money on the club, which is why there's a $1.5 billion or pound loan that he's not paying back. So I don't understand what the logic is for the UK government here. But again, this Saudi media, they want to come into the club and they want to re-sign these players, and which is important for us. We need players like Rudiger. We need all these players, and like Aspie as well. Like I know Aspie's not at his best anymore, but from time to time I still see the player in him, you know, and the captain, and it's just he is important for the team still, in my opinion. But in my opinion, I think the Saudi media seems like the most promising. It would be so ironic that all these rival fans were talking so much shit, and now we come back with an even richer owner to just splash more cash.
Well, when we say rival, we mean Arsenal fans. They're the ones that talk the most shit anyway. A lot of the times they're saying that we're going to go in administration. Apparently they've got mystic balls because they can tell that we're not going to win anything in the next 5 years. Apparently we're not going to win anything in the next 5 years. Apparently we're going to go down the table. We're not going to be competitive. They're going to treat us
they
like
wish
crap. And they've got mystic balls. They know everything.
Yeah, they wish. Their mystic balls looks Gal's head.
You know
That's what it is.
Gal's like, he goes, right, I'm going to be balanced and then completely negative for 10 minutes. And he goes, but I was balanced. I'm like, what was
Not
balanced
balanced at all, man. But I think, and I want to point this out to, I guess the part of the fan base, which is the majority of us, that I guess with good reason. Obviously, I understand where it's coming from, but with the hesitancy to go with American owners, I just need to point out that as much as Kroenke with Arsenal and United with the Glazers have not been working out as a club, I strongly don't think that it's a result of the amount of money they spend. Because let's have it right. United have spent more money than us in the summer. They got Ronaldo, they got Jadon Sancho, they signed Donny van der Beek, who they just wanted to, just for someone to be on the bench. They signed good players. And they have such a higher salary wage as well. So United spend money. And Arsenal, look, despite how much trash we talk on Arsenal, they also spent money on players and players that they were targeting. They wanted Partey, they got Partey. They wanted Ben White, they got White. They spent a lot of money on White, a little bit too much if you ask me. They got Tomoyasu. They ended up getting Ramsdale. So they're also signing players and splashing the cash. So I don't think that American owners have an issue with splashing cash. I think where the issue with United and Arsenal come is that they're very neglectful in the sense of, unlike us at Chelsea, as soon as there's a turn of bad results, Roman was on the dot, ready to replace the manager and get something that works. Whereas with Arsenal and United, I think, I guess you could kind of say this is FSG. They're more so inclined to give the manager time, almost to a fault. With especially with Ali earlier in the season and with Arteta now, which Arteta's kind of paying off for them, not quite. I still don't think he's the right guy, but I don't know what you thought about that, Jem. If you still feel, if you're one of the fans that feel hesitant about American owners just because of what happens in Liverpool and all of them.
Yeah, my thoughts are this. I don't really look at where you're from. I look at what your intentions are for our football club, and I don't think it's an American thing. I don't think it's just an Asian thing, Turkish thing, whatever. Saudi Arabia. I don't think it's any of that. I just think that, and I still think that Roman Abramovich is still heavily involved in who takes over this football club. It's his baby. He's built. It's what he's built. It's like building Rome in 20 years. He's built his own Rome, if that makes sense. Here, and
no pun intended.
You've got to bear in mind there's a infrastructure in place. There's a system in place. Now, do I think it works well? In many parts, yes. In some parts, no. I look at the recruitment department, and I think when you've got Ross Turnbull as your guy that's going into Europe to look for the best players, then you've got the wrong recruitment. Scott McLaughlin made some terrible decisions on players we bought in, and we just haven't bought the right profile players. No worries. That's fine, Marshall. But in terms of it being Americans or whatever, for me, like I said, it goes to just having the right individual that's going to keep us to the elite level, who's going to financially back us. I don't think, like you said, I think Americans will back you financially. I don't think that's the issue. I do think that they're neglectful, but I also think that they don't make the right decisions, and that doesn't mean by players or managers. I think it's more of a system, from where they are below. So they're the chief executives and people like the board members and that. There's just the system that they've got set up, or infrastructures that they have in place, are just not well run. And when you look at Chelsea, because we have something that is run, might not be the best, but it works for us, because you can look at 20 years and see how successful we've been. Yes, we've had our moments of having really poor players, but at the same time, we've also bought very good players, and we've also got rid of managers, and we've also bought in really great managers and won Do you know what I mean? So I think the system and structure's there for Chelsea. Whoever we look to bring into this football club to continue it, I'm not saying has to follow what Roman's done. It's not the thing. But come in, if I'm a billionaire invested into Chelsea, I want to come in, I want to sit down, and I want to see from the people that are already set in this, in what's already been built by Roman. I want to learn, I want to understand, I want to see how they're doing things. I don't want to just come in and go, Marina, you're out. Peter Cech, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, just like, because it makes no sense. And that's why I'm saying the intentions have to be right. You come in, you understand it, you add to it. You know, it will take them time to see how things are running. I think Roman will still be in the background, personally. I think there'll be a lot of things that he will be sort of spoon feeding them in and helping them understand. And eventually they will run and do their own things with it, and maybe try and improve the recruitment department or the marketing avenue, where we could be making more or doing better as a company and making more net profit and whatever else, and buying the right players. Like, these are all things that can be done later, but it's about finding the right owners that are going to come in with the right intentions and say, look, this is our project. This is what we want to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to give you a stadium. We're going to keep them competitive. We're going to get rid of Lukaku. We're going to give them Haaland. We're going to do this. do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just have a plan in place. If you come in and go, I want to buy Chelsea. Okay, what do you want to do with it? I don't know yet. I'm just going to see how it goes. Like, I don't see Roman going, yeah, you're the man. We want you. You're the man.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have a project. The intentions of being. I think Roman's going to put guarantees in whoever he sends it to, just to make sure that we're kept at the elite level as well. So we'll see.
Although Roman has given up the ability to, I guess, choose. If I'm getting this correct, I think he gave up the club to the government, but the Rain Group, which is his company, is still in charge of who gets the sale of the club.
Yeah, he's still
the final say.
I think them or that. Do you know what I mean?
I think Roman has run it through them very very thoroughly. What we need, what we should be aiming for, what we should be getting, and what kind of bidder to accept, and what the qualifiers are, right? Guys, I did drop the link for you if you do want to come in and have your say with me and Jem, talk about the game or the sanctions and all this fun stuff that we've been talking about previously. So it's there for you. It's pinned if you guys want to come in. But back to what we were.
It's just to finish off what you're saying. He's got a big job, because him leaving Chelsea and trying to find the right individual to come in. Can you imagine if it just burns and we do go downhill and what the rival said is true? He's going to feel he's in himself. He's going to feel like he's let the football club down. You know, I'm not saying he can control what people are going to do, but I do think he's going to try and understand what they're going to offer, and that's why I keep saying guarantees. Guarantees being put forward to say, you're going to do this. You've got to honour it. You can do that. We want to see it. It's going to be certain departments where I think Roman's going to want to make sure that we're not dropping. We're still there. I
think the biggest thing too for me is that with all this that is happening, I guess maybe I'm negligent, but I guess I just found out that this club is really, really making scraps, if anything, when it comes to the stadium. I think they lose money when they host games. I think it's about time that we make moves on that, because other clubs, they're pretty self-sustainable for the most part. And I thought we were, but we just can't be as long as we have a 40,000 seater, I believe it is, right? At Stamford Bridge. I think the new owner definitely has to take into account that this needs to be improved on. This is a flaw in Chelsea that it can't remain, especially considering the size of the fan base, the size of the club, and the success of the club. If we want to be more successful, we have to upgrade that. And it's going to hurt some people, because I know people, at Stamford Bridge, they own part of the pitch and all that. But I think, I don't know how it's going to happen. That's why they get paid so much to do that stuff, and that's their problem to solve, right? But it's going to be interesting for sure, especially when it comes to that. Hassan, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, guys, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nothing much, man. I'm just glad that we got the results today. It could have gone real ugly if we got a draw, because Arsenal would have been on our necks, to be honest. And yeah, these past few weeks, man,
Got a
it's
good point,
just like
You continue. I'm
these.
sorry.
Yeah, but I was saying that these past few weeks, I think Roman's love for Chelsea has been properly tested. Like we've been, I mean, he's literally had two hands tied behind his back and forced to sell literally. And yeah, I mean, people like Rory who have doubted him, saying that he'd use Chelsea just to sell at one point, have been absolutely murdered because he's literally selling us without making a single penny profit. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? Kai Havertz, absolute phenomenal goal, man. Bergkamp-esque. That guy ain't even joking. That touch and finish, no chance. I don't think any keeper could predict that. Even like obviously, I used to do quite a few goalkeeping. I could have predicted that he was gonna do that. I thought he was gonna hit that first time with his head or something. And yeah, I mean, smashed it. I think that's what, like 5 goals in the last 5 games. And this is this part where Havertz will likely pick up, and he'll continue to pick up. And yeah, I mean, preference. I mean, Marshall, no offense to you, but the only reason why I don't like, I've said it to you on Discord anyway. Like people like to draw patterns and connect the dots with the American owners, and I've said it on Jem's channel, and I've questioned it because the best analogy I use for this is like mortgaging a house and using that loan money, like using that person that pays rent to pay off that money without investing your own. That's what scares me the most. You know what I mean? Like not like the way Roman was going to invest into our stadium with his own money. I want like someone that could do it and someone that could financially do it. That's why I said the Saudi media group.
I get that, Hassan, but at the same time, you got to realize that Roman is already in a small bracket of billionaires. And within that small bracket of billionaires, how many of them like football? You already reduced that. And on top of that, how many of them love Chelsea? You already reduced that. There aren't many people to pick from that are going to be treating the club just like Roman. So obviously, like whatever owner
I mean, Roman, you're comparing a one-of-a-kind guy to another.
That's what I mean. He's so one of a kind. He's like 1% in the world, right?
I wouldn't
there's
say
already
1%.
slim pickings in that, you know? I don't even
probably
know. Just some percentage. I'm not a mathematician here, but I'm just saying
I mean, to be honest with you, I was gonna say how many billionaires are willing to spend silly money without asking a single payment back.
Exactly.
It narrows it down to Roman and the filthy rich people like the Saudis, man. That's what it narrows it down.
Yeah, there's not many people like that, which is why like this Saudi media group would be ideal, because I feel like the transition would be similar. If we go to like Bayrak or Candy or Bully, it's gonna change. It's the way we run the club is gonna change without a doubt. You know,
exactly. It's gonna be like, oh, if we invest, you have to pay it back. Whereas that's why I wanted the Saudis, because let's be honest, a lot of these billionaires are greedy. They want something in return, whether it's in like FSG, where they say, okay, Liverpool will get you players like Van Dijk, Thiago, all these lot, but in return you have to make that money back for us. Like it's one of them ones where they're gonna make us into a business model. So that's why I'm saying the Saudis will be ideal. And to be honest, I really don't want. If I want an American order, I want so that's 100% like for us, 100% for Chelsea. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but if people are hesitant about American owners spending money, I don't think they need to be. I think
no. It's just like whether the focus is fully at Chelsea. Because if they own an NFL team, they might focus more on spending money than.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you do know that any billionaire that buys Chelsea will have other entities or own other brands like that. That's just like that's what a billionaire is not a billionaire because it doesn't own anything. It's a billionaire because it.
No. Of course, they have a business which makes money, but
I know, but
ideally they have what contradicts Gem is where they have 2 sports businesses. Which one are they going to pay more interest to?
Yeah,
No,
but
I
then
mean,
again, that's something we can't worry about for me because we don't
Yeah.
know. Like we're worried about
And
things
no,
that we can't have
And
control.
Jem brings up a good point, and this is what I'm trying to emphasize. I think the fan base needs to realize that the Roman era is the Roman era. It's coming to an end. No matter who comes in, the things are going to be run a little differently. Yeah, the Saudi media might come in and it might be similar, but there might be some changes here and there too that maybe it's not to our liking. It's not how Roman ran the show. Maybe, Tuchel goes through a really bad form, which, knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't. And he doesn't get sacked, and we stick with him despite the bad form. Unlike with Roman, who's so ruthless, he does get sacked, So there a few things might change here and there, regardless. But I think the fan base, have to let go of the fact that we're not going to get someone that's going to be a direct replacement like Roman. See
I
one
mean,
London,
to be honest,
bro. What are you
you
saying,
know,
dog?
I was gonna say it was the high standards of our fans. Like, I just don't want that to
It's
be
true.
let go of.
We're
I
spoiled
just,
though. We got to remember we're spoiled. We are spoiled.
it's a good
See
and
you in
bad thing.
London. How you
It's a
doing,
good.
bro? What are you saying? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I thought we played poor today, but
You and
we
Jem
did.
agree, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't play well today at all. I thought the ball progression on both sides, left back and right back, you could tell they didn't look comfortable. At times, Rudiger had to be our number 10 playmaking. Like, it was ridiculous at points.
That's actually true.
Like, he was overlapping. It was actually ridiculous at points. I thought Mount and Kante, their passing was awful today. Kante is not a great passer of the ball, but today it was probably the worst I've seen in a long time. I thought Jorginho, defensively, first half he was okay, but second half he got overrun, and when Kovacic came on, he got a bit better. I think Timo Werner, for me, everyone knows my thoughts on him. He's not good enough to start, but I don't like this excuse that he's not trying because he doesn't want to get injured, so when he gets sold he'll be fine. I don't like that. People are saying, the reason why he's not trying because he doesn't want to get injured when he gets sold. I don't understand this nonsense.
That's nonsense.
That is
Like,
nonsense,
it doesn't make any sense. We say this for every player. Whatever chance you get, you should be putting 100% on the pitch.
We can say the same thing about Lukaku then, because he doesn't move anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Exactly. We say the same thing about Lukaku. We say the same thing about everyone. So I don't understand this. And we have to talk about the main man, our player of the month, arguably so far, King Kai, man, the one and only. That touch in the 89th minute was absolutely outrageous. And the finish as well, outside of the boot into the side netting, was outrageous. And I feel like with this Roman situation, it's kind of helped Havertz get more game time because there's not much pressure to play Lukaku anymore. And you see Havertz, he's feeling a lot comfortable right now. And if he finishes off the season, let's say he gets about 10 goals and like 4 assists, and we win something, that would be something good for him to build off of the next season as well. I just hope that he continues playing and hopes he gets his scoring mojo into the thing, because I feel like with Havertz, when he plays well, but I feel like his finishing at times it lets him down. But I feel like now, since he's got that goal scoring run about him now, I feel like after the international break he could continue that and hopefully help us win more trophies if we can.
By the way, when is the international break? Is it this week?
It's after the FA Cup game next week.
Okay. So now I know when to expect it. I got to prepare mentally because I don't know if I can be without Chelsea for that long.
I hate it, mate. I don't know what to do myself half the time, especially when you're trying to do content creating. It's hard, mate.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I understand that 100%. Yeah. We have to do the debate shows, but look, C1, it was spot on. I with Havertz, I'm just happy to see this because I've been the beginning of the season, I've been disappointed with him, and I've been saying it like it is. Like, he just hasn't been playing that well in the beginning. And there was a stint where he wasn't even coming on, which I wasn't for because I don't think Romelu was doing well. I figured let's do what we always do and rotate these players until one clicks, And I'm just happy ever since the Club World Cup, this kid has stepped up and has improved his game with the physicality. We see it now.
Yeah, he's Clutch. His name's Clutch Havertz.
Yeah, Clutch Havertz. Seriously.
Do you know what that comment there? You got a comment from Rebecca there. That is that is true, very true. She says, can we talk about how Havertz gets as little service as Lukaku but still scores and creates? That's true.
That's
because
very true.
The best players, even when they're not heavily involved in games, still have an impact in a different way because they're versatile. They could adapt to try and get, do different things. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Havertz had a good game today. I don't think he was, but then I don't really feel like any of them did, to be honest.
Yeah,
personally,
everyone had
So we all had the, sorry.
Go on.
God, no, I was just saying, but the difference with Havertz at the moment is that, and this is him. He seems to have just grown in confidence, especially with the goals that he scored. Is that he just doesn't give up, and he always continues making that run. And you saw it with the header where he had that little movement, and he went like he's always trying to make something happen for himself. That's the difference. He makes something happen for himself. The other one wants everyone to make it for him. Does that make sense?
You saw the heat map. I showed you guys. Yeah. You see how he moves. He's all over the pitch. He's making his own chances. So I 100% agree.
Yeah, the one thing Havertz needs to improve on is 1v1 situations because he seems to not always be his man. He needs to improve on that more. Then he'll be fine, in my opinion.
Yeah. 22 years old, isn't he, or whatever?
He's doing better than someone who's supposed to be in his prime.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Marshall.
I mean, if you're talking about that 1-on-1 he had today, I thought he actually didn't. I mean, it was a good save personally.
Not that one. I was talking about.
The bar.
You remember? I think it was Burnley. He was 1-on-1 with the defender, and if he beat him, he could have put a cross into the box first half, but he didn't, and he turned back. I feel like he needs to be more confident in his ability because he has the technical qualities to beat them. I don't know if it's just confidence.
Yeah, I think he's quite confident. I mean, personally, for me, I think he's quite confident with the ball at his feet. He always looks to beat a man. He uses his pace. I get what you mean when dribbling. I don't think dribbling is his full game, like i.e. step overs and beat a man. I don't think that's all him, but he still has that like yard of speed to be able to just, pick the ball up and drive past the player in his own way, if that makes sense. So, but I agree. I know what you mean. You're talking about in tight spots, aren't you? Where he needs to like maybe just beat a man and put a ball in.
Yeah, just create that bit of half yard for himself.
That for me is more of like a Christian Pulisic, someone that's in tight. He loves tight spots, being able to like just wiggle out of them areas and then create an opening for himself. Like sometimes you just haven't got that. Not say that Havertz hasn't, but that's more of like a dribbler like Pulisic, I'd say.
Yeah,
do that.
Yeah, I agree.
T1, did you have anything else you needed to say?
No, I'm good, bro. I just had to come and say my piece. I want to say big up to Marshall.
You gotta spread the word and awareness of the brilliant King Silky German Kai Havertz, man. But seriously, the Silky Timo Werner.
Silky speedy Timo Werner.
Big up everyone. Hope everyone has a good evening and afternoon.
You
too, brother. But thank you everyone who came today. Make sure if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Check out Jem's channel, GNA TV. You'll find me over there sometimes participating in his call-ins and all that fun stuff. And smash that like button if you haven't already, guys. This has been the show. Appreciate every single one of you who came in. Sorry that we started an hour earlier. Jem brought it up to me that with the daylight savings, the time is 4 hours ahead of time, not 5 hours anymore. So if you just made it, I'm sorry. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Jem, thank you for being here. Hassan, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate you guys. Always a lovely conversation with everyone here. But yeah, that's the show for today, guys. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this in the future. Let us know what you liked and all that fun stuff. But on that note,
one last thing, right? Jem, hold it. Alonso lasted longer than Roman. Hold it.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Alonso, legend of the club. In Roman we trust. Don't do drugs. We'll catch you next time. Peace.